I
The
don't know
latest
what time it is.
episode of Club Shay Shay,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, he had a 3 hour and 10 minute episode,
It was too long.
uh, with Amanda Seals.
Yeah.
Um, we watched it.
Yep.
Um, I don't know where to start.
Okay. You want me to
You
start?
want to start?
Because I have just some general thoughts about the interview first, and then we can get into like the details, if you don't mind going
I
there.
don't mind. Go for it.
So first of all, I thought it was far too long. Don't think it needed to be as long as it was. I think the first hour was. I didn't really need an hour of childhood stories.
Right.
Um,
Which really was like 2 hours.
right. It was about. I would say maybe about an hour and a half of like childhood, and personally, didn't really care that much. I'm glad she had a fulfilling childhood. That's great. No, I
Right.
mean that because I feel like a lot of us, or like a lot of people, come out and say they had this traumatic childhood, and it's like, oh, that's so unfortunate.
And you
That's
got to hear a familiar accent.
right, right. Yes, I did.
Oh, man.
But she, so I don't have a. That's funny to you.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing because I thought, the first time she did the accent is when speaking as her mom
Yeah.
or, recanting her mom's, words. I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. That was cool. That was cute. But then every time she spoke as about something her mother said, she threw on the accent. And I was like, why she keep putting on the accent to talk as mom? We we can hear mom without the accent.
West Indian kids do that.
We didn't need it every time. Not on this huge platform. It's like, all right,
West
this
Indian
is.
kids do that.
I wasn't mad. I thought it was funny, but I also thought it was unnecessary because I'm like, all right, fam. Every time.
Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying, but yeah, it's a thing. Also, there's certain things I gotta say, just as a child of Guyanese parents, there are certain things that I can't say without the accent. I will spare y'all, but there are certain words even that I can't say regular.
But
Like,
but you could tell us a story about your parents
oh yeah,
without using the accent.
I've mentioned my parents here before, and I didn't use an accent. I do it like
Exactly.
personally, like if I'm talking to a friend or whatever, and I want to, say something my mom said, I might do what she did, but I don't know if I would do it sitting across from Shannon Sharp. I'm also not someone who does voices, or I'm not a comedian, so maybe that's part of it. I don't know, but
Continue.
I thought the childhood stuff was just went on way too long. I think that Shannon Sharp. I know that Shannon Sharp said that like he's not a journalist or anything like that, and he's just. Well, I will also say Shannon Sharp very much proved that he is not a journalist with this one, because I think this is the first time where I was like, well, was your team, did something happen? Like, was this super last minute and your team just didn't have time to do the research properly, or what? Because there was a couple of times where she had to correct him. I would have been super embarrassed knowing that I said that that woman's mother was white when she wasn't. And Amanda Seals has always been very public about her relationship with her mother. She's very close to her mother. There's no reason for anybody to think that her mother is white. Amanda Seals has shown her mother many times before. Obviously, she talks about how she's a Grenadian woman from the West. She's from the West Indies. That doesn't necessarily, that to me, that part of it, when she said that, I actually know white people that are from the West Indies, so I don't really think it's predominantly black, right? But it's not impossible. So that was weird to me. That wasn't the only moment where he said something that was just simply untrue, like it just wasn't fact. And I was like, well, I get that you're not a journalist, but you're like in this you're in this space that you're creating, right? Where you're inviting people on your show and you're like spouting facts about them to them, and they should be accurate. That was
Yep.
weird to me, and I was like,
That would be helpful, right?
yeah, I was like, I don't know what they're doing over there. Like, I don't know if they're getting a little too big for their britches, but y'all need to fact check some stuff because that was weird to me. I was like,
Right.
this was one of them ones where I was like, what is Shannon Sharp doing exactly? And again, same thing that we've spoken about before. She controlled the interview, and I think he likes that style. I think he likes to let them go and say whatever they want to say. But I also think that there are moments where it becomes unproductive because again, we didn't need an hour and a half of Amanda Seale's childhood. Like the bullet points would have been sufficient. That's also an editing problem, but I'm getting too technical.
Yes. No, that's what I was gonna say. I didn't want to cut you off, but I don't understand the editing over there. As a person who has to edit these types of things, clearly, I don't have the cameras, the budget, I don't have the drone camera that pans this way and then
Mhm.
pans back, which I don't like that camera, by the way.
No.
But it's so weird. Like they cut to the camera and for no ass reason, it just starts panning
It's
to
like I can't.
Shannon
It's on a dolly.
and then goes this way and stays there for a second and then pans back.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know what that camera's for. It doesn't really have a purpose here. This is not the NFL where we need to see things going back and forth in that manner. Y'all already have 3 cameras or more. I don't understand the panning camera. It's weird. Anyway, uh, as a person who edits, clearly way lower budget production, but as a person who edits videos and podcasts, I am extremely confused about the editing over there. You could record for 7 hours,
But you
eight
don't have to put out
hours,
all 7 hours.
9 hours. Right. But it could be an hour episode if you choose to. It could be a 30-second episode if you choose to. You can edit however you see fit. I don't understand why nothing is being edited or seemingly nothing is being edited because she made some points afterwards about things that were edited at the end, but it seems like y'all not really editing anything out. And why we gotta sit through 3 hours of every guest? I understand
Right.
that Monique and Cat Williams came and kicked down the door, so to speak. But every guest is not them.
And really quick note on the editing too. Some curse words were edited and some weren't.
Okay, I understand that
Did you
one.
notice that?
So, yeah, and he said it.
Oh, he
He
said it
said you're cursing. Yeah, he said you're cursing too much. We're gonna have to edit some of this.
because at one point she said motherfucker, and then sorry, and then another point like they were bleeping out her saying the N word, and I was like, what?
What happens is he's thinking about his YouTube
YouTube?
paychecks.
Okay, okay,
YouTube has made some very specific changes
okay.
uh,
So that's
in the
considered a
last
racial
year.
slur. Okay, got
He's
it.
trying to make sure. Yeah, there's other channels who do the same thing.
That
There's some channels who completely have blurted out all curse words, so they don't have issues with monetization.
It's just that
Um,
there was a lot. There was like it was like there was no rhyme or reason to the edits on the language.
that was the rhyme and reason to make sure that they don't lose monetization on YouTube because YouTube has made it clear that if you curse, they have specific rules. But I'm trying to make this quick.
Is there a curse count?
Generally, there's kind of a curse count, and they care more
Okay.
about some curse words than others.
Right, but some of this, I guess what I'm saying is some things that were blocked out were also said.
Yeah, but it's about the overall amount of cursing. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah,
It's
I don't
not
want to
it's
spend
not
too
about.
much time on
So
that.
let's just say the N word, right? It's not about can you say the N word or can you not say the N
Mm-hmm.
word.
It's
It's
about how many
about
times do you
how
say
many
it?
times. Yes,
Okay. Got it.
because even YouTube, I've made jokes with us before. We're not monetized yet, but I've made jokes with us before because
Hmm.
you've cursed in like the first 15 seconds. There's a
Who-wee?
rule. Yes, you. There's a rule in YouTube. YouTube recently added a rule this year or late last year, something like that, where in the last year, YouTube added a rule where if you curse in the first 15 seconds multiple times, like in regularly throughout your channel, you won't be monetized. They don't want you cursing at all in the first couple seconds.
Yeah.
So if you just start, if you just start your episode or video and be like, motherfucker, you're probably not going to be monetized.
Well, I can do
So
that,
you have.
by the
But
way.
anyway,
Not like
it's cool.
that.
No, not like me, but you've said it. But anyway, so that's what it is. And then they have clear rules about, or not so clear, but whatever. They have specific rules about cursing after a certain time period.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, then there's a list of like these words. If you continue to use them throughout the duration of your podcast or episode or video,
Uh-huh.
you can have content monetization strikes or completely be demonetized.
Okay.
So
I can
that's the
understand that. That makes sense.
yeah, that's the rhyme and reason. He's trying to keep his paychecks flowing.
I would just take them all out because it just seems very inconsistent. But that's neither here nor there.
No, it's fine. But this editing is this lack of editing is weird. I don't understand why you have all of this in here. Yeah, there are certain things that might have been important, but even the stories that you felt were important, all the fluff in between, you could have edited out, like your arguments.
Um,
I don't understand what Shannon Sharp is doing as a host.
I don't either. I don't know what the goal is.
Understand I don't know what the goal is either, but I understand that you want to let people, say crazy things, get
Mhm.
their wild points off so you can make the videos and the clips and say like, "Oh, Dashing D said JD blah 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 blah." Yes. But uh I don't understand why you're letting people undermine you. I don't understand why you're letting people argue with you. I don't understand what is going on as a host. You make it very clear at the beginning of every episode, every interview, whatever you want to call it, that you are the host, the person who procured it, the person who created it, all of those things. You make it very clear, hey, I am in charge and this is mine, but it's not looking like you're in charge. And I said
Because
this
people
when
come
the
into
Cat
his house
Williams,
and disrespect him.
right, and that's what I was about to say. I said this when the Cat Williams episode came out,
Mm-hmm.
and we spoke about it.
Yeah.
We spoke about it at nauseum. There was a lot to talk about, and that's fine. But I said if Shannon is not careful, people are going to start coming and taking over his show, and that is what we are seeing more and more. And I don't even watch every episode.
I don't.
But my point is, it's starting to look like you don't have control of this thing that you created. And I
Right.
don't understand why you're allowing that. And I truly don't understand why you're not editing those moments out. Because let's get to the part that everyone is talking about, which is part of the argument. You want to question whether this person had racist experiences or not.
Mm-hmm.
You want to question whether this person is autistic or not. That's fine. And I understand why he did it in some of those instances, right? Like the teacher, when he said, yeah, but isn't there a world where, teachers and adults just don't want kids talking back to them? That was cool. But then it became like a debate.
Right.
And then they went back to it later on.
Well, because she wouldn't let it go.
Right, but he wouldn't either. And that's my
That's
point.
true.
So
That's true. You're
so
right.
if she's upset, which at one point it finally clicked for him, that all he had to do was say, okay, and let her talk. But my point is, why aren't you editing that out?
But did
What purpose does leaving the arguments, because there's more than one, what point does leaving those arguments serve?
he
It
wants
doesn't make you
every
look good.
he wants every episode to be a Cat Williams episode, I believe. I think that that's the goal. I don't think there's a real goal. I think that's the goal. I think the goal is to to be really popular and make a lot of money, right? Like that's why I say there's no real goal, cuz like people have clear goals. Like we could say our goal is we like to talk about entertainment and whatnot. So sure, like, do we want to monetize and things like that? We could have a conversation about that. But the goal here is for us to discuss entertainment related topics, right? So Shannon Sharp's goal seems to be, and I don't have any, I'm not
You
gonna
ain't called him?
stand it. No, right. I can't speak for him, but what it appear like, and that's why I say I don't understand what the goal is, because typically the audience member the audience member should be able to understand what the goal is without you actually saying what the goal is. Even someone like Amanda Seales and the content that she creates and the things that she does, her goal is clear. Whether you like the way she does it is another conversation, but is her goal clear? Sure. Shannon Sharp's goal for whatever this show is supposed to be is not clear. It's like you just want clicks and likes because this is a thing that makes you money, which is fine. Like, it's your job, right? So if that's it, then that's it. But you really do let people come out here and disrespect you and try to take over these interviews. And why? And like you said, you have editing power, you have veto power. You could just say, you know what? We went back to that argument too many times. I think initially the fact that they had that back and forth, I think it was okay to show it. But I think you're right. Every time they went back to it, it's like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we continuing to rehash this? Why are we continuing to belabor the point? Unless the point here with this particular person is to prove that this person is combative. And I thought about that too. That crossed my mind. Something that people say a lot about Amanda Seales is that she's abrasive, she's combative, like she's very in your face. There's a world where he's like, well, I'm gonna let her, I don't want to use that term. I'm gonna let her show you who she is. You know, I think
Yeah,
maybe
but in trying to, if that was the goal, I don't know. But if that was the goal, you also showed us some of who you are.
right. It makes him look crazy.
Yes.
You let them come
Like
up there and talk to you
I
any
don't
kind
look
of way.
through.
And who are these people to come into your house with your thing that you created? First of all, once I found out that, and I just found this out maybe an hour before we started recording, that Amanda Seales is the one who asked to be on Shannon Sharp's show. I didn't know that. That made a lot of sense though, because that's what they've
Okay.
been doing. It's just now they go to him and be like, I want to come on your show. It's a free for all.
Well, that's part of my concern, and that's what I said when the Cat Williams thing happened. I agree with you. To be clear, it is a free for all, and that's part of why I don't understand why certain things are not being edited out. Because if the goal was, hey, we feel like this woman came up here and wilded out. Just example. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if that's the case.
Right.
Again, I didn't get a call from Shannon either. You know
You
what I mean?
didn't. I
We
mean,
ain't get to
he
chop it up.
again,
No, his
you
team
know,
didn't
it's
holler at me.
uh
But if the goal was, hey, we're gonna make this woman, we want the world to see what this woman came in here and did.
uh
Cool. You still could have edited if that was the goal to do that.
right.
Because what ends up happening is you look like you're the one being combative and you're the one challenging this woman. Because there's a difference between me asking you, but Dash, are you sure that that lipstick won't smear on a napkin? And me saying, but how we know that lipstick not going to smear on a napkin? You keep saying it won't smear on a napkin. How we know it's not going to smear on a napkin? Those are two very different things.
You're
And
right.
so,
And it felt like he was baiting her, and I couldn't understand why. Like, what is the goal here? Did you bring her on your show to out her, to like show people that what they're saying is true? Or did you bring her on your show to just have an honest conversation where you are a neutral party and you're giving her a platform to speak, because that is not the way it came off. Very much like he has an opinion of her, and he, whether directly or indirectly, was trying to prove the opinion he has of her.
I think something else, but I hear what you're saying. I was gonna say I don't even read comments, but when I was watching it, one of the comments that came up, if you have it standing up straight and it's like the smaller
Yeah.
size video on your
Yeah.
phone,
It'll just
you
randomly
can
pop.
see like comments sometimes. So a couple of times when I was watching it, I was looking at it that way, like looking at messages and stuff.
Mhm.
Again, it's long, and I was watching it on my device. Um, One of the comments that came up said he's having a really hard time believing that she endured racism in America. And I was like, see, I don't even read comments, but they're right. He really kept pushing the issue, and I don't understand why that's not edited out. Like, there's so many things as I was watching this that I just was questioning, why would you leave this in? Like, let's be clear. There are certain things you definitely don't want to take out, right? Which we'll get to in a second.
All right.
But there were so
Or,
many things that you
or
could
on
have taken
Monday,
out.
because we might
But
we
there's
might
so
have to
many
do a part one
things.
and part two of this Amanda Fields conversation.
But there's so many things that you could have taken out. I just don't understand why you would leave those things.
Keep talking.
Oh, I was about to throw it to you, but
No, keep
okay.
talking.
So I just don't understand.